Hello, and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I'm the English Guy, I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video, I do appreciate it. In this one, we're going to be covering the 12th of June 2021 edition of AEW Dark Elevation, and it was one heck of a show, so that being said, drop into it. Opening matchup was between Thunder Rosa and Dream Girl Ellie, and Thunder Rosa has been one of the standout performers in all of wrestling, really, in 2021. And she's been going from strength to strength to strength, so to say. And she got another win in this matchup with the Peruvian Cavalera choke. I got it right this time. I did pronounce it correctly. In fairly quick fashion. And Dream Girl Ellie did get some decent offense in, but this was Thunder Rosa's night for sure. And I think that she's been fantastic and a real service to the AEW Women's Division in 2021 and to women's wrestling in general. She's been great all year. So she's been on the rise in 2021, and I'm sure she's going to continue to do so. So thumbs up for that. And thumbs up to opening matchup. It was a fun, short match. Next matchup was Matt Hardy versus Fuego del Sol. And after last week's first ever victory in AEW for Fuego del Sol, the whole fan base of AEW is behind him, and they have been for some time, to be honest, because I'm one of them. I love Fuego del Sol. He's a guy that works so hard and finally got a break in AEW by getting his first win last week. This week, a bit of a very much tougher challenge in Matt Hardy. And of course, everybody knows by now Matt Hardy is a tenured veteran of the scene. There's pretty much nothing he hasn't done to this point. And he's an asset to AEW, he really is. And he was an asset in this matchup because this was a very good matchup between these two. I enjoyed it. And I think this was a real testament to what these two can do in the ring. And the clash of experience versus rising talent, I will say that for Fuego del Sol, was superb. And even though Matt Hardy won, this was definitely a good show for Fuego del Sol. And I think he's starting to build that momentum more and more as time goes on. And after last week, people thinking this was his last ever appearance in AEW because of them leaving Jacksonville after they'd been there for so long. Nope, he turned up. So it was interesting to see that. But you know what? It was a fun, good matchup and enjoyed this one. And Matt Hardy winning, I think, was the right call because if Fuego Sol was to wanted to win that match, as much as I love Fuego, I think it would have been the biggest upset of the year. It's all serious. So it was a good match, this one. It was good fun. And Matt Hardy winning, there you go. Thumbs up. Brings up to the next match. Amber Nova versus Riho. And of course, Riho, the first ever AEW Women's Champion, and a real testament to what... Sorry, my apologies. Oh, that's come out of nowhere. My apologies. Real testament to what the AEW Women's Division is about. You know, she's the lightest competitor in the AEW Women's Division at only 98 pounds, but don't let her fool you. She's incredible to watch her. She's so good. And Amber Nova is not the first time she's been in AEW. She's been there once or twice. But a very good showing here, to be fair. And this was a good match for the Women's Division. Even though Riho did win, I think, Amber Nova getting some offense and some moves in was very good. I enjoyed that, to be fair. And even though Amber Nova lost, she didn't really lose a whole lot in this match, shall we say. But this was all Riho, and so this is Riho tonight, my apologies. And she showed why she is so good. And she's got perhaps the most infectious smile in all of AEW. And I think that's because this was the first AEW Dark Elevation in front of fans after so long. I think the whole roster was feeling it. They were feeling so happy to be performing in front of fans again. But this was a good matchup. I enjoyed this one. So, there you go. And the next matchup was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Baron Black. And very, very quick match. I can say Powerhouse Hobbs with these Spinebuster won the match. So there you go. Okay, the next matchup was between Yuka Sakazaki and Kylan King. Now, Sakazaki is no newcomer to AEW. She's one of the very first women from the Joshi system in Japan to come to AEW when it first started, and her and the rest of the Joshi system just shined so brightly. And in this match, she did too. Against a very game Kylan King, another competitor in the women's division in 2021 that has been on the rise. She's been doing great. And this was a very good match, to be fair. I think this was a superb showcase again for the women's division. And these two women, I don't think have ever faced each other before in an AEW ring. If they have, I don't remember it. But that being said, this was a very good match, to be fair. And Yuka showed why she is so good. And she's one of the best women, female competitors in the Joshi system. And she's one of the very best at the moment. She did superbly in this matchup. But so did Kaiden King. This was a very good back and forth matchup. And even though Yuka won, I don't think Kaiden King lost anything in that momentum in this matchup because she's had a great year in 2021. But Yuka showed why she is so good. She did fantastic in this matchup. And this was honestly one of my matches of the night. I thought the back and forth offense between these two was so good. Kaiden King, one of the largest and strongest competitors in the women's division, showed it. But Yuka showed why she is revered so much. This was a great show from both women. So I enjoyed this one a great deal. And Yuka winning, I think, was perhaps the right call, even though Kaiden King lost nothing in defeat, if that makes any sense. So there we go. Thumbs up to both ladies for a superb matchup. And the next matchup was an 8-man tag team match. Varsity Blondes and Gun Club versus Chaos Project and the Acclaimed. And I absolutely loved this matchup. I just thought this was so good. The pre-match rap from Max Caster, as he always does at the Gun Club and Varsity Blondes, was superb. It was funny. And in front of a live crowd, you could tell he was amped to do it. And that's something you kind of love. But that was before the matchup. The matchup itself was superb. I thought this was a really good 8-man tag match. Everyone got a chance to show what they can do. And so Pentaco took the brunt of it. And Gun Club and Varsity Blondes using their own partners as weapons as on their other team was so funny. And something I did not expect, to be completely honest with you. But I'm not complaining. It was fun. But no, I just thought the overall feel, the pacing of this matchup was super from an 8-man tag match. And everybody got a chance to do something and shine, which is always great to see. And I will say this also, congratulations to the Varsity Blondes, who recently has been signed by AEW. So definitely not undeserving, definitely one of the most deserving tag teams to get a chance in AEW. So definitely a thumbs up to that. So well done to Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. for being signed. Can't fault that. But no, in terms of this matchup, I loved it. This was a really, really good 8-man tag match that had a bit of a different feel to it in terms of like psychology against the Chaos Project. And being used to Varsity Blondes and Gun Club using themselves as weapons. It's very unique, but also entertaining to say the least. And I enjoyed this. I really did. Everybody got a chance to show some really good stuff in this matchup, and this was definitely one to watch. I enjoyed this one. One of my matches of the night. Not my match of the night. That is. We'll get to that later. But this was a good matchup. So definitely thumbs up to all 8 men for this one. It was really entertaining stuff. And this matchup was Brian Cage versus Alan 5 Angels. And I felt so bad for Alan Angels. One of the most picked on members of the Dark Order, if not the most picked on member of the Dark Order. But he's a star. I love Alan 5 Angels. But when they go against Brian Cage, you're in for a tough night. And Alan 5 Angels was in for a tough night. Even though he did get 1 or 2 bits of offense in, this was Brian Cage's night and did win with a draw call in fairly quick succession. But Brian Cage shows why he's Brian Cage. So, can't fault that. So, thumbs up. And this matchup was legit Leyla Hirsch versus Kelsey Heather. And this was a short match, to be fair. And this was Leyla Hirsch showing her dominance in the women's division. And she's been another one in 22 and that has risen and shown what she's all about. And she did a great job here. And she won in fairly quick succession with the cross arm breaker and showed why she is legit Leyla Hirsch. So, there we go. The next matchup was Scorpio Sky versus Sean Dean. And Sean Dean is a man who's also been on a roll in AEW. But he got his first win recently. And he showed some good stuff against Scorpio Sky. But Scorpio Sky showed why he is the tenured veteran and one half of the men in the year. And of course, the face of the revolution. And he's been great in 2021. Him tagging with Ethan Page has been so entertaining, to be fair. And This matchup was also entertaining, to be fair. I did like the work rate from both men. Sean Dean showed why he deserves to be in AEW. He's did a great job here. Scorpio Sky also showed some good stuff and picked up the win kind of out of nowhere. But you know what? Sometimes that surprise and that situation can happen. And he got the TKO and picked up the 1, 2, 3. But Sean Dean had a good showing here, to be completely honest with you. And I thought, even though he lost, this was a good showing from him. But Scorpio Sky showed why he is so good. And just like that, to pick up a victory. And that's exactly what he did. So, thumbs up. And the next matchup was probably my match of the night. Lee Johnson versus Jungle Boy. And of course, Jungle Boy recently hit a landmark in AEW, winning 50 matches in AEW, the first man to ever do it. And he's also the man who's had the most matches in AEW. And this was a matchup, when I saw on paper, I thought, ooh, this is going to be very good. It was excellent. This was brilliant wrestling from both men, back and forth action, and had me guessing throughout the whole matchup who could win this one. Because Lee Johnson is a man who's also been on a roll in AEW, has been doing great. But this was a testament to both men's abilities and a testament to what these two men can do in a ring. It was stunning stuff to watch. It really was. And this was what a wrestling match can be in AEW. When you've got two guys like this who can work so well and did work so well in this matchup against each other, it's going to produce golden stuff. And it's exactly what it was. And I thought, even though Jungle Boy did win, Lee Johnson had an excellent show. This is probably one of his best shows in AEW, which is saying something because he's had some very good shows in AEW. And he's a guy, I think, in the future, Lee Johnson, no joke, he's just going to be a star. He's getting more experience, he's getting more confidence, I think, but he's just, fluid in the ring. He's like nothing else. And then again, so is Jungle Boy. You can't say that. And you can't say he's not sorry, but this was cracking stuff. The counter wrestling, the pinfall attempts, now I won't say one-upsmanship because that's not what this was about, but the chess game, shall we say, was just very, very even throughout the whole match. And I thought, this was what AEW can be about. This is when you put two great guys like this in the ring, you're just going to get something great. You definitely did here. This was an excellent matchup, but probably one of the best matches AEW Dark Elevation has done to date for me. I loved it. So definite thumbs up to Lee Johnson and Jungle Boy for producing an excellent matchup. So if you get a chance, watch it. It's just a testament to what these two men can do. So definite thumbs up again for these two. So there you go. And this matchup was Red Velvet versus Layla Gray. And Layla Gray has had a few times opportunities in AEW, but Red Velvet is another one in the women's division in 2021 that has risen. She's been great. And she did win the matchup with the Chef's Kiss in this one, but, it's nothing against, Layla Gray, but Red Velvet was quite dominant in this matchup, to be fair. And she did win the matchup, and I think that is always great to see Red Velvet do a great job. And in the hometown of Miami as well, so that was cool. But Red Velvet, as I said, has had a great 2021 and it continues to show a lot of progression. So definitely thumbs up to that and thumbs up to this matchup. And this matchup was a 6-man tag match. It was Willie Utah, Orange Cassidy, and Chuck Taylor versus Private Party and Darrell Joel. Now, Darrell Joel is the latest acquisition, shall we say, of the Matt Hardy. I'm not going to say the Hardy family office because I'm not too sure he's in that bracket yet, but he's in talks and he's kind of with them now, even though there's some apprehension on his behalf. And curious to see where it's going to go from here. But you know what? As 6-man tag matches go, this was a different kind of 6-man tag match, and the psychology from Private Party and Darrell was quite funny because obviously the Miami Heat went out in the NBA playoffs to the Milwaukee Bucks. So of course, Private Party comes out with Darrell, and they make him take off the track jacket, and he's wearing a Milwaukee Bucks jersey underneath to try and get the heat. Simplistic, but really good to try and get someone to get heat. Even though Darrell didn't want to try and do that, that's not how he wanted it because he wants the opportunity. So the confliction in that regard it's been so entertaining to watch, and I enjoyed it, to be fair. And this was a great showing from both teams, to be fair, in terms of what they were trying to do. And for those who don't know, Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor had a hand in training Wheeler Yuta in some aspects. I say some aspects because Willie Uta is a journeyman and travels and trains in a lot of different places because that's the kind of wrestler he is, which is great. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And he's starting to get a bit of a push in AEW, and I'm pleased because I do like Willie Uta. I think he's a very underrated wrestler. He's a hybrid warrior. Best way to say it. No offense to the hybrid suit, but he's a hybrid warrior. There's nothing much he can't do. So to see him tagging with two of his trainers is great, and I enjoyed the comradeship they had. You could tell that they were clicking and firing on all cylinders, these three, because obviously they know each other so well. And even though Private Party are going to be one of the best tag teams in AEW, full stop, and Jarrell, the trying to get them in the matchup situation was interesting. And you know, Jarrell more than once took off the jersey, he didn't want it on, and he kind of wanted Private Party's help to take out Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta took advantage of that and got the pinfall in this matchup. But you know what? It was a very entertaining matchup and definitely different than what they were trying to do. Something I've never seen in AEW. When legitimately, I've never seen this in AEW because of obviously trying to get Jarrell into the mindset of their, shall we say, Private Party. Didn't quite work out the way it did because they did lose the matchup. And Willie Uta getting the pinfall was again something I kind of didn't expect, but definitely not again because it's great to see him get an opportunity because he's a fantastic talent. But this was a very good, entertaining six-man tag match and one I've never seen before in AEW. So definite thumbs up to all six men for this one. It was very entertaining stuff. I liked it a lot. So there we go. And this matchup was Hikaru Shida versus Julia Hart. And if there's anybody who's been the MVP of the women's division, and that's saying something because they've listed a lot of MVPs in the women's division, it has been Hikaru Shida. Obviously, the longest reigning AEW women's champion ever. Slightly due to the pandemic, but she still went and ended the thing. She was fantastic as champion and is still one of the best women's wrestlers in the world against the up and comer Julia Hart, who's starting to show a bit more in AEW as of late. And even though Hikaru Shida did win, Julia Hart has a very good showing here, and this is a real testament to her because obviously she's only 19 years old and she's got a bright future ahead of her. Absolutely no doubt about that. Excuse me. So against someone like Hikaru Shida, you are going to have a tough challenge, and she did. But Julia Hart had a good showing here. But Hikaru Shida showed why she is one of the best in the world. Had a great showing here, and she won the matchup. But not to say that it wasn't a good showing from Julia Hart, 'cause it was. But this was a good matchup. I enjoyed this one. So there we go. Which brought us to the main event: Darby Allin versus Angelico. And this was Darby Allin's first ever matchup in AEW Dark Elevation, to be honest. And he had a great show because this was almost just under Lee Johnson and Jungle Boy's match of the night. This was a cracking, back and forth matchup. And Angelico's strategy to work on the leg of Darby Allin was very well done. Even though Darby Allin won the coffin drop, this was a very good matchup for what these two did, and I thought this was worthy to be main event. Absolutely, I thought the work rate for both was superb. The psychology, especially from Angelico, was first rate, and Darby Allin showed why he is one of the biggest stars in AEW. He had a fantastic showing here against one of the best submission wrestlers and best all-round wrestlers in AEW and Angelico, and very unique styles in the ring against each other, but they worked very, very well against each other. Very well against each other. So. Tongue-tie myself yet again. But no, this was a very, very good main event. And Darby Allin winning was the right call, I think, after the sort of momentum stroke future he has. He has a coffee match against Ethan Page, which is going to be very interesting because it'll be the first ever coffee match in AEW. But no, this was a very, very good main event. And it topped off what was an overall very entertaining episode of AEW Dark Elevation, which produced one of the best matches they've ever done on Elevation between Lee Johnson and Jungle Boy. So thumbs up to everybody involved in this show. It was a very entertaining episode of Elevation. And on that positive note, I will end the review here. Thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody next time. But until next time, take care.